Welcome to the Speak Your Piece podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton. Thank you for joining us today. We are joined by special guest, Speak Your Piece creator Scott. Scott, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. I read a tweet today. There's hockey for 116 straight days starting tomorrow. So, you know how I feel. How I'm feeling about that. So it'll be good.
Yeah, until COVID stops it.
Well,
Schedule.
That's a schedule. Yeah. Sorry. Anyways.
Yeah, because we're gonna be this is our kind of our NHL season preview pod. We're gonna have a bit more fun. It's not gonna be all necessarily, our insights or how pick. Well, we're gonna do some picks. We're gonna do some player drafting. I guess is that what you want to call it later on.
Yeah.
We'll explain it later on, but basically we're going to go through each division. We'll talk about it for maybe 10 minutes, talk about our playoff teams, our MVPs, do that, and then we'll do that player draft and some other final thoughts on the upcoming season. We're recording this, 10 after 9 on Tuesday, so the season starts tomorrow. What are there, 5 games tomorrow?
I think so. I know the Penguins and Flyers are playing, and the Oilers and Flames are playing.
Oilers Canucks.
Oilers Canucks, that's right.
Probably the Leafs Habs are going to play. I think Chicago might be playing.
Chicago, is it Detroit or Nashville?
Tampa?
Or is it I don't know.
Anyway, so there's 5 games on tomorrow. So we're recording this the night before, and then hopefully when it comes out, it'll be out before the games. Which division do you want to start with? Do you want to preview the North? Do we start with the North, or do you want to?
Let's start with the North, because I think that's what the viewers want the most, because they want to know about our Canadian teams and who's gonna come out on top up north.
So who do you have as your top 4 teams? Like, who's gonna make the playoff from the North Division this year?
In the North Division, Edmonton's gonna win it.
Ooh.
Edmonton's my first team. So I think I have Edmonton, Toronto, Vancouver, and then I have Winnipeg in 4.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Winnipeg, Calgary's like a flip flop for me, but I'm gonna put Winnipeg there for Malin's sake. So.
I was having that conversation with my dad where it's like essentially Winnipeg and Calgary are the same team. Like, they have a top superstar winger who's potentially on the move. They have good goaltending. I would say Hellebuck's better than Markstrom, but they both have good goaltending.
Agreed. Yeah.
Winnipeg and Calgary to me are kind of the same. Solid defense, not great defense, but solid defense. I would say.
Solid defense, yeah. Solid enough.
Solid enough. So that's interesting, though. Edmonton.
Yeah. I think Edmonton. They've got. I mean, obviously, can't forget McDavid, Draisaitl, but again, I think that team, their engines are going to run, but they've got some pieces there that are going to surprise people. And I think, a big step from Bear, a big step from Nurse, maybe Bouchard or Broberg crack the lineup. I haven't seen their actual roster.
Yeah.
But some of these guys on the Oilers that people are kind of like, oh, they're not that good, but they're going to contribute to the team as a whole. And I think having Dominic Cahoon play with Draisaitl, I think that's going to make a big difference, because it makes that top 6 even more solid than it already is.
I'm just going to do a bit of adjusting here. The Oilers are an interesting team because I love their forward group. They have a really great forward group. Their defense is concerning. Goaltending's kind of concerning.
But I guess the thing is, do you trust Koskinen enough in that?
That's the thing. Like, do you think he's going to be good for 35 starts this year? 35, 40?
And I think he will, and that's why I think they're going to win the division, because they're going to figure stuff out on defense. It's Dave Tippett's second year as coach. He's a great coach.
Yeah.
I think he'll shore up the back end. He'll figure out some defensive schemes for the Oilers, and I just think in a short sprint season, a team like that, if they come out hot, look at them to stay up top, and continue to ride it out.
It is interesting with the 56 game schedule that we got coming up.
56, yeah.
56, where Edmonton's a young team, so they'll be fast and they should be ready and they should be good to go. Toronto's a little bit of an older team with some of the guys on the depth.
They're still quick, though.
And that's But Montreal's a little bit kind of that mix too of young and old.
Yeah.
My 4 teams I have the Leafs as the top team.
Okay.
Montreal I have as number 2. in the North.
Okay.
You can basically flip between Edmonton and Vancouver. I say Edmonton and then Vancouver is a 3-4. And then Calgary, Winnipeg, 5, 6, and then Ottawa 7th. I think there's really 4 tiers, 5 tiers here with Canada, where I think the Leafs are in the top tier.
Yep.
Montreal, I kind of want to put them up there because they feel like they have the talent. They feel like they can be a top team this year. Yeah, and then Edmonton and Vancouver are very similar to me, where they're really loaded on the front end. Quinn Hughes is the best defender, arguably, in Canada, and that might.
I don't disagree with that.
The Canucks are thankful to have him. That probably would push them up to number 3. I see with the Canucks, they're going to have a lot of internal improvement. Like, I think Petey's going to take another step this year. I think Besser's going to take another step this year. Horvat takes another step this year. Maybe even Shotgun Jake Virtanen takes another step up this year.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Hoglander, the rookie?
He's looked good. I don't know if he's going to get a roster spot yet. I don't know if any of the rosters are actually official yet, but
he's not official, but he's been playing with Pearson and Horvat for the last week, so people are assuming that he's going to play. He's going to be on the second line.
He looks really good. Like, he looks really solid.
Which
if you see the videos of him, it's not a surprise, but if you see the videos of him in training camp, he looks like someone who should be there.
Even in World Juniors, he was nuts. Yeah. Last year, in the last year's World Juniors, cut to Michigan goal here.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if he's going to pull that off with the Canucks this year, but no. I have them finishing 4th, making the playoffs. Again, Calgary and Winnipeg are very similar. Both can compete for a playoff spot. I could see a world in which Calgary and Winnipeg get in, but I have them on the outside.
So, and speaking of on the outside, we both have Ottawa outside. Are we assuming that Stützle is going to challenge for the Calder, even though his team won't be that good?
He'll get votes. I don't think he'll win it, but he'll get votes, I would think. We can talk.
What if he puts up 50 points? If he puts up 50 points, then we have a different conversation.
I was gonna say if he I'm expecting him to put up maybe 20 points could be kind of reasonable for somebody like him. Maybe 30, but if he's averaging a point per game, that's something you have to take into consideration. So we both kind of differ on the North. Who's your MVP of the North? Is it McDavid this year?
Everyone's gonna say McDavid. I think it's Petey, and if Petey's gonna put up 65, 70 points, the Canucks win the division. I've been saying all kinds of teams for winning division, but I think Petey's gonna win it, and he's the heart of the Canucks, and he's gonna have a hell of a season. You kind of just feel like every year he's gotten bigger and better, and you just think a year after, he's put on some mass, he's put on some weight, he's gonna handle some of the bigger, tougher defensemen like a Weber or like TJ Brody in Toronto now. Some of these more physical defensemen, I think he's gonna handle them, and he's gonna put up 70 points.
That's the kind of that's what the Canucks need if they're going to finish first. If they need Petey to take off and to have a stellar season. There's a world in which he's actually the NHL's MVP. I think
very well he could be. Yeah,
there's an argument to be made if he's putting up say 75, 80 points this year.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who's your
McDavid? It's obviously McDavid.
Yeah, it's hard to go against McDavid.
Go against McDavid, but I'm gonna throw out the Austin Matthews argument.
Okay.
I'm gonna sprinkle that a little bit. This is the Leafs' best chance of winning a Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah.
If they're not a top 4 team in the league this year, they might never.
True. With their core.
With their core of Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Riley.
Yeah.
And Freddie. If you're not going to do it now, you might never do it. And if it does happen, Austin Matthews is going to be that guy who's putting up the 80 points or the 75 points.
So is he over under 30 goals? Short season, remember.
I know.
30 goals is like 0.5 goals per game, which, by the way, viewers, that's a lot. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I'll take the over for the excitement.
Yeah.
I don't know that he hits it.
I would too.
Well, the whole thing too is just like with injuries and COVID, and you just never know what's gonna happen. Like, you never know. I mean, Matthews, he could score 30 goals. He could put up 30 assists. This team, I think, is much better to at least, it was definitely a regular season team before. They're now much more suited for the playoffs. So I'm gonna say McDavid, but I'm gonna throw out the Matthews a little bit.
Matthews. I'm excited to see him and Marner play with Thornton because Thornton kind of rounds out that line. Yeah. Gonna kind of hold the guys accountable. Those two haven't really had like either. Well, Matthews is obviously center in that line, but Thornton can also take draws and he'll win a lot. And it just takes some pressure off Matthews in either the faceoff circle, defensively, just everywhere. Thornton's just such a key piece on that team. I think he'll be big.
I want to say with the Leafs that it felt like at times last year they just needed somebody inside the locker room to be like, what the fuck are we doing, guys? Like, why are we losing these games? How are we down? Why, like, let's get our fucking shit together. Like, it didn't seem like last year there was that guy in the locker room. I mean, Spezza's not that kind of guy. No, and Thornton, I think, might be that guy. Wayne Simmons will be that guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say they picked up 3 this year. Throw Bogosian in there as well defensively, and he's what they've needed. That's they at least need for a long time. And that's a big physical right shot defenseman.
So yeah, and again, it's also the locker room presence of just guys being like, "What the fuck are we doing? Like, let's get our shit together. Like, this is unacceptable. We can't be doing this."
100%. So, anyways, you have the Leafs up top. Let's move. We want to move next.
You want to do the Pacific?
Or the West? Yeah, let's do the West.
Sure. Is it the West this year, not the Pacific?
It's the West this year, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Because it extends out to like Colorado and
Minnesota. St. Louis.
I think St. Louis is the other team as well.
So,
can we both before we go into our standings, can we both agree that 3 of Vegas, St. Louis, and Colorado will be the top 3 in any order?
In any order, yeah. Those are the top 3 teams in basically the West. It's essentially just a throwing darts at a board to see who's going to get that 4th spot. Like we know who the top 3 are. It's just a matter of figuring out who's going to be that 4th team.
Can I make a case for my Ducks?
Absolutely, yeah. No, go for it. I'm going to make a case for the Kings later on, but make a case for the Ducks.
I like it. So, based on Ian's going to talk about the Kings here, but the reason why the Ducks will make the playoffs this year, and again, I could be very wrong. People are like, "Oh, come on, you're a Ducks fan. You look at the jersey in the background." Like, obviously, I'm biased, but I actually do have some facts here for you. So, the Ducks picked up Kevin Shattenkirk this offseason, and some of you know he's been to a few Cup finals. He's been on really good teams. He hasn't. I'm not sure if he's won one, but either way, he's a big piece. He's a right shot defenseman on that back line. He'll probably play with Fowler. And just as a whole, the Ducks have gotten younger. Their younger guys like Troy Terry, Max Jones, Max Comtois, Sam Steele are all going to take a step. They're all Anaheim Ducks. They're not like what we call taxi squad players between San Diego and Anaheim. So,
yeah, I was going to say they're not playing for the goals this year. They're playing
for the Ducks. Yeah, they're playing for the Ducks, and I think that's going to give them confidence. Like, okay, I belong here. Steele's first-round pick. Jones is first-round pick. Like, they got skill. These guys they got speed as well. And, we'll see what happens with Zegras and Drysdale. I don't know if they'll make it this year. They might be close. But if they do, they're going to be impact players, especially Zegras, because he'll change the play for sure. He might even play power play minutes.
The Ducks have an interesting argument, I think, just purely based on John Gibson alone.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, because I think one of the things, goaltending is random, but if you Gibson is a top 5 goalie in the league.
100%. His stats don't show it, but
his stats don't show it. But Gibson's a top 5 goalie in the league, and he's going to be the starting goalie for Team USA when they go to the Olympics next year. With that being said, there's a world in which the Ducks win ugly, like the 2-1, 1-0. Like they win those kind of games, get enough playoff points, and they can get 4th. And then Gibson is the MVP almost because he's just outplaying everybody. And this is the wacky season. Like, anything can happen. Like, I wouldn't at all be surprised if that happens.
For all we know, San Jose could make the playoffs, but I doubt they'll make it.
So you have Anaheim. Is that your official pick? That Anaheim.
So my official order is going to be Colorado, Las Vegas, St. Louis, Anaheim, in that order.
All right. I have Colorado, Vegas, St. Louis, and my fourth team. I went with Minnesota.
Okay, that was my other pick. It wasn't Anaheim.
I went with Minnesota. I put the Kings fifth.
Okay.
And so we were on the left side heavy pod with my buddy Jevin a few weeks ago now, I think it is. And I made the case for the Kings as being like a dark horse wild card team this year. And part of it is because they're in a really good state right now. Like, the Kings can do essentially whatever they want. They have cap space. They have really good prospects. They have some solid players who are on the NHL roster. And part of it with the Kings is you're kind of hoping for a bounce back. Like, Jonathan Quick, I'm hoping he's going to bounce back. Dustin Brown, I know it's on the tail end of Dustin Brown's career. Dustin Brown, you're kind of hoping that he... Bless you, by the way. You're kind of hoping that Dustin Brown gets back to at least average. And Drew Doughty was one of the worst defensemen in all of hockey. Like, not just like for his salary, just in terms of defense.
Just period.
He was awful last year. So you're expecting all of those guys to take a bit of a jump and a bit of a boost. If you're picking the Kings, I'm kind of hoping that. I don't think they make the playoffs, but I see a fifth place finish out of them. And I might be a year early on them. Like, they might be next year where they're really good and they're really competitive. And, like, their center depth is insane. If you look at how many centers the LA Kings have in their system, not just, like, playing for them, but just in their system.
If you look, they've got two top 5 center picks on their team. Turcotte's 5th overall and Byfield's 2nd overall, like, in back-to-back drafts. So you're building, like, essentially you just got the next Kopitar, and then you've got a very, very two-way skill guy in Turcotte who's gonna surprise people for sure. He might even make the team this year.
He might. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if even both Byfield and Turcotte make the team.
Yeah,
that wouldn't surprise, just because of what's going on with the Ontario Hockey League and Byfield. I wouldn't be surprised if the Kings just kept him for on their roster, burn a year of his entry level. But
better him playing with NHL guys than not playing at all. So.
Yeah.
MVP of the West. That's a big toss up right there.
The obvious answer is McKinnon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm gonna say Robin Lehner.
Okay.
That's a really weird situation in Vegas with the goaltenders, with Lehner and Fleury.
You have 2 elite goalies.
You have 2 elite goalies, 2 high, expensive goalies. I want to say Lehner. You could convince me on McKinnon. You could convince me on Torrey Krug. Now who's with the Blues? He might have the bounce back season.
O'Reilly even.
O'Reilly. Even Kevin Fiala of the Minnesota Wild.
You could argue it. And like you said earlier, John Gibson too. He's another
John Gibson.
Mentioned in that conversation.
You could make an argument for a few guys. I'm going to go with Lehner. He might be the safe pick, but I just think he's a really top-notch goalie who's going to have a really great season for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Okay.
Who you got?
I was going to say O'Reilly. O'Reilly or McKinnon. Whoever's my guess is probably it'll be McKinnon, but I don't see I see a world where O'Reilly wins the MVP. And same with Gibson. Yeah. But I think it'll be McKinnon for sure.
I think it'll probably revolve like McKinnon, O'Reilly, Leonard. Like, it'll be probably one of those guys we would call, like, and they don't have. I don't think they have an official word for like division MVPs, but I think I think you'll find that the 3 most valuable guys this season in the Pacific or the Western Division will be McKinnon, Leonard, and O'Reilly at some point. I just wanted to make the argument of Kevin Fiala because that dude looked like the rep hockey player who was playing against the house team in the bubble against Vancouver. Like, he was clearly the best player on the Wild, and I did not see that with the Granlund trade. So that's why the Kevin Fiala deal.
That was a few years ago now, but I remember when that happened, like, I was like, oh, Nashville's winning this trade, no doubt about it. Like, Fiala's good, but he's no Michael Granlund, because Granlund was the first line center on the Wild for a few years. But who knows? I just want to quickly mention, is it Colorado obviously is in win now mode. Do they have to win this year? Do you think they still have a few years, like, down the road? They've got a big window, in my opinion.
I think your window is like within like 3 years, 3 to 5 years. Because the other thing to consider with Colorado is not that he's end all be all, but you do have Bowen Byram coming through the system.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is just me being picky. They could improve at goaltender. Grubauer is fine, but if they could find another goaltender, I would be more confident in Colorado. Like, that's the biggest thing with Colorado. He
reminds me of like the kind of situation with Chicago in Corey Crawford, because he's not that good of a goalie, but he makes the saves and he plays behind a really good team.
He just leaves me wanting a bit more.
Yeah. Also, remember, he was hurt. He was hurt last year, so it's hard to like make a proper assessment on him.
It's not like. He's not the reason why Colorado is so good, but he's also like not the reason why they lose games sometimes.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
By the way, I just want to round out on this. Do you have San Jose finishing last?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. That team is so old. I just don't see it happening with
San Jose. Don't see it happening. Yeah, San Jose, Arizona.
Yeah.
LA, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Anaheim up. Yeah. Anyways. Let's move Central.
Let's do the Central. So let's. I want to get this out of the way. My Detroit Red Wings are not finishing last in this division.
Okay.
We're not going to be a playoff team, but we're not.
But you're not going to finish last.
We're not going to finish last.
Okay, so who's going to finish last in that division?
The Chicago Blackhawks are going to finish last.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Viewers, the Chicago Blackhawks lost their top two centers this year. Jonathan Toews and Kirby Dach is gone for 4 months now.
Really feel bad for those guys, because that's like you can't blame Dach for wanting to play for the World Juniors. You can't blame Toews has an illness that I don't know if it's officially.
It's still he's still out indefinitely. I think doctors still don't know what's going on with him. But,
and the thing with Chicago, my biggest concern is their goaltending. Like, I don't know who they're is Jordan Subban Chicago's goalie this year?
Malcolm Subban.
Malcolm Subban. Is Malcolm Subban their?
He based on the roster I looked at, he looked like their most bona fide goalie. So I'm guessing he's gonna start, and it might not be pretty.
And he's not really an NHL guy. He's a decent backup.
He's a decent backup, yeah.
But
he's no starter.
Yeah. So that's my biggest concern with Chicago is their goaltending. Sure.
Can we agree this is the weakest division?
Yeah, this is the weakest. Like, this is
by a lot. Yeah.
This is because I think we
Tampa's finishing first, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
You would think so?
I mean, I think we know we didn't totally agree, but we at least know who's competitive in the North. We know who's competitive in the West. We know who's competitive in the East, and the East is really tight.
The East is really tight, yeah.
The Central is kind of a mixed bag of kind of what are you and what are you trying to do, and
no kidding. So let's just go through the teams again. So we've got Tampa Bay, we've got Dallas,
yes,
we've got Nashville, we've got Florida, we've got
Columbus, Carolina, Detroit, Chicago.
Right? And Chicago. Okay, that's 8 teams. So I'll give you my top 4.
Sure.
Tampa Bay, Carolina, Dallas, Nashville. And then Columbus would be my 5th.
I don't hate that. It's amazing that Tampa Bay without Kucherov is still a first-place team in this division.
Oh yeah, of course they are.
Carolina, I see Carolina actually being a cup contender this year. Like, there's a good world in which the Hurricanes can make the finals.
Yeah, there is
Again,
actually.
kind of like Colorado, their goaltending is a bit concerning, where you're leaning on Mrazek and Reimer, who aren't horrible options. You kind of just would like to have a little bit more.
Yeah, they're both elite backups. That's one of the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're like Carolina's defense is insanely good.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're
Insanely. And is Svechnikov a superstar? We've talked about it before, but I'm pretty sure.
God, I love him though. I don't know if he's a
So
super.
good.
Him and
So
like this might be like the Aho show. Like this might
yeah.
be like this might be the year where people finally start giving the respect to Aho and Svechnikov that they deserve.
Yeah.
Even
And Teravainen.
and
Teravainen.
Teravainen, Vincent Trocheck is on the second line as the center. They
Yeah.
like this team. The Carolina is really good.
They're built. They're
They're
built really
built.
well. Yeah.
You know, Dallas, I have my concerns with just because I honestly didn't think they were that good.
We've talked about that before at length. Yeah.
Statistically, they look good. I didn't think they were honestly that good, but anyways,
Right.
I don't hate either of your like any of your playoff picks. Like
Yeah.
they can all happen. Um, I I don't want to do this, so I'm not going to. So I'm just gonna say it's Tampa Bay, it's Carolina,
Mhm.
it's Columbus.
Okay.
All right, yeah, Nashville. I'll say it's Nashville. As the fourth team.
Wow.
I don't want to because it's I either have Florida or I don't think Dallas makes it. It's Florida or Nashville for myself.
Okay.
And I kind of regret saying Nashville. Do you know that in the last 10 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
only for the Predators, they
Mm-hmm.
have had 2 years without a defenseman in their top 3 regular season scoring.
Only 2 years.
Only 2 years they didn't have a D-man in the top 3 on their team for regular season.
On their team. That's crazy.
So the Weber, Subban, Yossi have all managed to be in the top 3 for scoring. I don't even know when the last time Nashville had like an 80-point scorer is.
I don't know if they ever had.
Yeah, like the problem with Nashville for myself is that they just don't score enough, but they play a good enough defensive game. Florida, we always talk about Florida. It seems like oh, this is gonna be the year for Florida. Like this is gonna be the year they get in, and they looked really bad against the Islanders in that play-in. Like they were.
It looked like they shouldn't have even been there.
Yeah, they did not look ready. They did not look prepared. They almost didn't look like they wanted to be there.
But again, it's the Islanders we're talking about, who are.
Well, and the other
anyway, yeah.
And the other thing is that not to base conclusions off 2020 in the bubble and I'm willing to give Florida a pass because of how poorly they that's a weird circumstance. That's a unusual circumstance that I'm willing to give you a pass on.
Right.
Now Florida needs Bobrovsky to perform. Huberdeau, Barkov, Ekblad, all the guys need to show up this year.
Yeah.
And I love Ekblad. Like Ekblad's like one of my favorite guys. He doesn't get enough recognition.
I don't think he's the best defenseman on Florida. I think Keith Yandel is still.
I hear he's not in favor with the Florida management anymore.
Yeah, well, I know that he's at risk of missing or breaking his Ironman streak because I think he's got something like 790 or like 800 games.
Yeah, I heard he fell out of favor with Florida. I don't know.
Honestly,
I like
Florida. Yeah.
I want to pick Florida. I just didn't. Nashville, their goaltending situation worries me.
Yeah.
In Dallas, I just think that they're gonna fall to earth after the Stanley Cup run last year. Columbus even has me worried a little bit with the Dubois thing of him not wanting to be there.
He could go to this team here in my background here. There's been talk about that.
There's any team who doesn't have their top 2 centers filled should be inquiring about Dubois.
But I know the asking price is insanely high.
Sure, because he's got $5 million for the next 2 years for like one of the arguably best centers in the league. Like he's not on the same tier as McDavid and McKinnon and Matthews and obviously those guys. He's like with the Matt Barzals.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Like obviously you're not gonna reach that tier,
Yeah.
but like you're not gonna reach the McDavid Matthews tier, but you're with the Matt Barzals of the world. And that Matt Barzal, like that's another guy who, if teams are looking around, like that dude's probably got an insane asking price. I know he just re-signed.
He just re-signed, yeah. So,
anyways,
MVP of the Central.
I'll go with I'll go with Svechnikov.
Svechnikov, okay. I like it.
I'll go. I know that's kind of a cop out, but I mean,
Fair enough. That's a good pick. I like that. The obvious choice is Braden Point, or Andrei Vasilevsky, or Victor Hedman. One of those three-headed monster in Tampa. I'm gonna say it's Roman Josi because he drives that play. First of all, he's a man rocket. Second of all, he's Predators captain. I think, like you said, he's been in top 3 on team scoring, or at least him or one of his defense colleagues.
Yeah.
Whenever you watch the Predators play, and when he's on the ice, he kind of, if viewers, whoever watched the 2017 World Juniors, Thomas Chabot, he's very much like that. Drives the play. He's very he just creates offense from the back end, and you don't see that too often in the NHL. He's gonna, if he plays well, if he has a 40-50 point season, the Predators will be top 3 in the division. For sure.
I thought you were gonna say Tyler Johnson, who's been waived twice now since the end of the season because Tampa can't afford anybody on their roster.
Anybody, yeah, literally.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, so Yossi's a good pick. I think Svechnik's a good pick too.
Svechnik's a good pick too. I like that.
Do you want to round it off with the Eastern, or
let's go East.
All right.
And arguably the toughest division.
Yeah, this is like a crapshoot.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm interested. Do you want to start with your 4 teams, or do you want me to start with them?
Honestly,
you know what?
You go first.
I'll start. I guess we'll go in this order of teams, but I'm gonna say it's Boston, Philadelphia.
Yep.
Washington.
Okay.
And the Islanders.
Okay.
I'm not confident with any of those picks.
You're not confident in any of those picks.
No, but obviously the Boston situation is really weird because they not only let go Torrey Krug, but also Zdeno Chara.
Yeah. And isn't Pastrnak hurt for a few months?
I don't know for sure what the status is on him. He might be. I'm again with Boston. I'm just kind of banking on the system. I'm kind of banking on Tuukka Rask to perform well. Hopefully Bergeron and Marchand do well. That's why I'm going with Boston. Philadelphia, I kind of have to pick Philadelphia because with Carter Hart, obviously. Philly's a weird team as well because I don't know if they're really that good. I think Carter Hart's good. I think
Carter Hart's good.
Claude Giroux is all right. Voracek's all right. Their defense looks good.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Philadelphia, and then
Philadelphia's, you have them at 2, right?
I'm gonna say 2 for Philadelphia, and then the Capitals are a great regular season team, so that's kind of why I go with them for 3. I don't know that they'll perform well in the postseason because they also didn't look like they really wanted to be there a whole lot, and they got blown out badly by the Islanders.
True.
And then I went with the Islanders just because they'll find a way because the New York Islanders, and they just seemingly manages to just scrounge their way through any regular season game to get to the playoffs.
All right. I like it.
I don't think the Penguins are going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
I don't think the Devils are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Buffalo, I don't think Buffalo's close though. Buffalo, like I really wanted to pick Buffalo, I just couldn't figure out how Buffalo gets in.
How Buffalo gets in.
The Rangers, I really like. Like I really want the Rangers to get in. And
they're gonna be scary in like 3 years.
Like I don't. I really want to put the Rangers in, but I couldn't. So yeah, I'm my top 4 this year will be Boston, Philly, Washington, the Islanders.
Okay, are you ready for my picks?
I'd like to hear what your picks are and if they're as ridiculous as mine.
I don't think Boston makes the playoffs this year.
Yeah, you see, I like.
They could be 1. They could also be 6.
Like I'm not surprised by that because
I have them at 6. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. My order, I have Philly winning the division. Philly wins the East. I've got the Capitals at 2, Islanders at 3, and oh god, I don't even know who would be in this. There's like the Rangers, Penguins, and Sabres. Flip a coin, flip 3 coins. I don't care. Like it's one of those teams. I'm gonna pick, for the sake of this podcast, I'm gonna pick the Rangers. But I could be very wrong, and it could end up being Boston.
See, the Islanders are the boring pick to pick. Like the Rangers are the more exciting team anyway, so that's why I respect.
But the Islanders are good. That's the thing.
Here's the thing: if the Islanders play the Rangers, let's say, I don't know how many times they're playing one another this year, but if the Islanders are playing the Rangers,
between 8 and 10 times, yeah.
If you're playing I just feel like the Islanders win that game like 7 out of 10 times. I feel like the Islanders win that game because they just shut down the Rangers' offense. Like I just feel like the Islanders find a way to shut down Panarin, Zibanejad, Laugh. Like I just feel like that's what I feel like with the Islanders. The Sabres, I don't like them because I don't like their goaltending. No offense to Carter Hutton, I just don't think he's that great of a goalie. Yeah. I do like the offseason that Buffalo had. I do like the Eric Staal trade. I feel like this team is
too.
I feel like this team is trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
If they were in their regular division, like the regular Atlantic, then they might make the playoffs.
Yeah. But there's an argument there for sure.
But yeah, I really have a tough time squeezing Buffalo in. And Pittsburgh, I know you shouldn't count out Crosby and Malkin, but their moves were really like the Kapanen trade was weird. Their defense, I don't think is that good. I don't think their defense improved.
But here's the thing: Marino's young, Pettersson's young. If they both step up, and I think especially Marino, he's going to take a big step again this year. He was in Calder voting. People didn't know about the guy. People were like, okay, who's this Marino kid? He'll be okay. He's a good player. I've played with him in Cello. He's pretty good player. So watch out for Marino because you never know. I think the Jari kid, Tristan Jari, I think he's a solid goaltender. And he's the X factor for sure. Yeah, like I think he's a solid goaltender. I think he'll be good enough for Pittsburgh. I just don't know. It's actually really. Like to give you an idea, it's actually really interesting that the Devils are going to finish last place because even the Devils are a fine team on paper. I know Corey Crawford just retired, which makes things a little bit different, but even the Devils, you're assuming that Subban and Jack Hughes, Mackenzie Blackwood can all have bounce back solid seasons. Yeah. Even the Devils aren't a horrible team. They're just going to get the brunt of having to face the Bruins and the Rangers and Washington and Philly a whole bunch of times. They're just I think they're not good enough yet to compete with some of the bigger the better teams in not even like the division but also in the New York area. They're of the 4 quote New York teams including Buffalo, they're the worst of the 4 teams. So who's your MVP of that division? Oh my gosh. That's another crapshoot too. I could argue guys on 5 different teams. Carter Hart, Alex Ovechkin, Crosby. You can never count out Crosby. My official pick though, it's gonna be Matt Barzal. And the reason why is I think Barry Trotz is gonna figure out a way to unleash him. It's a short season, sprint season, so he's gonna get a lot of playing time. He's rested. He's looking really good on the ice. Look out for Matt Barzal. He's mad too because they think they should have they were in third round last year. They had some good experience as a team as a whole, but I think he's a guy that's a winner. I know he's a Seattle Thunderbird, Ian. You won't like that, but
here's the thing. I love that pick. Like that's a
yeah,
great that's like I'd like to see what the odds are for Barzal to actually win league MVP because I think that's a really good pick.
If he can get 80 points and the Islanders win the division, I think he'll win the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
If he can get 80 points,
like they're like him and Petey, watch out because both him and Petey could be like going head for MVP this year. Like, and I'm not even joking.
I like that pick. That's a good pick.
I'm not gonna try and give the homer pick with Carter Hart. I love Carter Hart obviously, and he actually probably like has a decent shot, even though the goalies don't win MVP. He actually has a decent shot to get MVP this year. I'm gonna say it's Ovechkin.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's Ovechkin just because like the Capital and Ovi is so good. I've loved Ovi since I was a little boy, and I just think he has another tremendous season with Washington. I just feel like that they have a really good regular season because they always seem to have a really good regular season, and Ovi just scores a bunch of goals, and he just does his thing, and he might be worried about John Carlson taking a spot for points totals on a team. But,
do you think Ovi gets 40 goals?
No, I don't see him getting 40 goals. I just think there's too many factors in which he doesn't get 40.
But he'll get close. I think he'll get close.
He will get close. And that's part of why like Washington making the playoffs is because I expect Ovi to have a really good year.
Yep. I agree.
So do you want to? And again, New Jersey and Buffalo, I really feel bad because they're like really solid teams I find, and they just get kind of SOL'd in this. Do you want to do like our SYP hockey draft?
I think let's do our player draft quickly, and then we can go back to our our playoff picks and our Stanley Cup picks.
Sure, we'll do that at the end. We'll finish the pod off with our with Stanley Cup picks.
I like that.
So I think the format for this is basically Scott and I. It's not really a fantasy draft. We're just picking players that we like, who we think are going to be really good this year. In case you aren't in a fantasy league yet, you might want to consider these guys for a fantasy league. We're just picking top players that if we were to build a lineup around, here's how we do it. Here's who we'd want on our team. The rules consist of no player can be picked twice. So like if I pick McDavid, Scott can't pick McDavid. If he picks Matthews, I can't pick Matthews. 6 forwards.
6 forwards, 3 defensemen, and 1 goalie.
1 goalie. Do you care forwards? Do you want to do like 2 lines, like 2 centers?
What I'm thinking, it's gonna be like a 3-on-3 lineup. So you get 2 forwards and 1 defenseman per the line. So you have 3 lines basically.
Okay.
So build your 3 lines. I'll format it here on a piece of paper, and then we'll get it nicely. We'll put them up on display on SYP.
Yeah. I might make a graphic if I'm really ambitious, and we can do a whole graphic for it.
Yeah, like our team to watch of sorts.
Our team. I don't know if you want to track points, if you want to see who like gets the most points at the end of the year, but
we'll figure.
Yeah,
we'll pick them.
We might do something at the end of the year, but this is just for a fun exercise that we're doing.
Are we doing snake draft or just back? Let's just go back and forth.
I was just gonna do back and forth. Yeah.
So you are the host of this podcast.
No,
so
let's do. You want to do rock paper scissors? Yeah, we'll do rock paper scissors.
Best of 3.
Best of 3.
Rock paper scissors shoot.
I got scissors.
I have scissors too.
Okay.
Paper scissors shoot.
Okay. Both got paper. This is going really well. Do you want to just do you just want to do this right now? Like the next person who gets it wins because first.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like that.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, you win. Yeah.
All right. I got scissors. So obviously, if I'm going to start any team, I take Connor McDavid. Not much needs to be said there. McDavid's the best player in the league, and I am tired of people sleeping on Connor McDavid. Like, there's no reason for Leon Draisaitl to be getting an MVP vote. There's no reason for like McKinnon. Like McKinnon's great, obviously. He's not the best player in the game. Connor McDavid's the best player in the game. End of discussion. He's my first pick.
Cool. Nathan McKinnon. There's a case to argue he is the fastest player in the NHL. And I think he's the fastest player with the puck. Maybe not without the puck, but with the puck. And he will lead a Colorado team deep into the playoffs and possibly to a Stanley Cup.
No, the fastest player is Dylan Larkin, obviously, because he won that one fastest.
I said with the puck, not without.
I am taking Austin Matthews as my forward. I love Matthews. I don't know if he gets enough credit either. I know people like to shit on him because he doesn't win in the playoffs, but that dude is incredible. That dude is electric. That dude is exciting as hell.
Exciting as hell.
Yeah.
Respect that. My next pick is I'm going with a defenseman.
Ooh.
Roman Josi.
Ooh.
And for reasons I mentioned before, he's my MVP of the Central Division. I don't think he'll win it, but he is a very, very, very solid defenseman. He's a top 3 defenseman, in my opinion, with Carlson and Hedman. And he will lead a Nashville team to the playoffs.
Interesting pick. Do you think he's the best D-man in the league?
It's kind of like
it's apples and oranges.
You're juggling Carlson, Hedman, Josi. It's a toss up between all 3. Like they're just different. They're all different players, but yet they play a similar game. So,
okay, I am. I'm gonna take Victor Hedman.
Okay.
That's the other D, but I'm hoping that you aren't gonna take the other guy that I have in my head right now. But I'm interested to see who you are going to pick. Hedman is, there's a good argument to be made for Hedman being the best D-man in the league. He's big, he's tall, he's physical, he's tough to play against. You saw it during the Stanley Cup run that Tampa made this past year.
Yeah.
Hedman's best D-man in the league, you can make an argument for. I'm all ears to that. So that's why I'm going to take Hedman as my first D-man.
I like it. My next pick is Leon Draisaitl. Big German forward. He was MVP of the league last year, and I made sure Ian couldn't have McDavid and Draisaitl on the same line. So
that's a good pick. That's a really good pick.
I got to figure out who he's going to play with because he won't play with McKinnon because they play similarly. So, but he is my third overall, 6th overall for the draft pick. Ian, you're on the clock.
I'll take Petey.
Pedersen.
I'll take Petey. So basically, my centers right now are like McDavid, Matthews, and Petey.
Remember, so you have 6 forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goalie.
So basically, with Petey, he's arguably the MVP. Like you made the argument for him winning the MVP of this Canadian division this year because the dude, I suspect, I think we both suspect that Petey will have another step this season. He's going to have a breakout season once again, and. He's gonna be so fun to watch. Like that dude is so good.
He's a terrific player. And I think the thing about Petey that's so cool, and this isn't even really the hockey. This is his personality and who he is. Honestly, he's an icon.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's just growing a popularity. I think he'll be a Canuck for a very long time.
Like I know him as much as he's a hockey player. I know him as well for just having these awkward Audi commercials where he says you should go get an Audi at your fucking
at Capilano Audi.
Yeah, it's just like you clearly aren't totally comfortable, but you want an Audi, so we can't I can't fault you for that.
And also cut to on the bench video with Petey. That is one of the funniest videos on the internet. I'm not kidding you.
Well, in we're not even Canucks fans. Like we neither of us have a rooting interest for the Canucks. Like we just love Petey that much. Like that's how much we respect the guy and how much we think he's going to do well this year. So I
wouldn't say we're not fans of the Canucks. That's our hometown team, so we kind of have to root for them.
Do we?
But well, you're gonna root for the Kraken.
This is Seattle Kraken hat.
And I got my Ducks back here, but I always keep an eye on the Canucks because I think they're just now an exciting team, and they're we grew up an hour away, so like. Fair enough.
Anyways,
I gotta pick again. I am going to pick. Wow, this is getting tough now. I need to find a guy to play with McKinnon. I'm gonna pick Mikko Rantanen.
Interesting. Okay.
And part of the reason is I like to build my team properly, and McKinnon and Rantanen together is a deadly duo up front, 3-on-3. So Rantanen's my pick. Probably shouldn't have picked him, but I wanted to make sure I had him on my team.
All right, that's fair. I'm gonna take Mitch Marner.
Marner, okay.
I also love Marner, cutie.
Yep.
Just a cool dude, one of the boys.
Okay.
I love me some Mitch Marner.
Cool.
He's so good. I'm also hoping he had a bit of an injury riddled season. Like last year, it kind of just didn't all come together for him with injuries and contract and whatnot. So I'm hoping he has another good season this season. It's better than last year.
Cool. My next pick, you're not gonna like this. Andrei Svechnikov is my next pick.
Oh, Mr. Svechnikov.
Yeah, he's gonna play with Draisaitl on my second line. Svechnikov, cut to Michigan goal part 2. He is a superstar incoming. I think he'll be better than Dahlin in the long run. Hot take, right there. He'll be better. He's big, he's physical. He can score. He's just a superstar, and he'll be good in this league for a long time. And I have him on my team for that reason.
The Carolina Hurricanes are going to be so fun to watch this year, purely with Svechnikov.
Purely Svechnikov and Aho.
Yeah.
Put Aho in that conversation too. Filthy. Who's up? Who you got?
I'm going to take another D-man here, and you might not like this. I'm going to take Cale Makar.
Oh, don't you dare!
I am taking Cale Makar as my other D pair. I mean,
here's
here's the thing: is that
God damn.
The argument this past season between Makar and Hughes, like they're both, either one of them could have won it. I thought Hughes deserved to win this past season, but Makar is the guy that I would build my defense around, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I would rather have Makar than Hughes. I just thought Hughes deserved the Calder this year.
Yeah, for sure.
So for people who are looking for an argument, they're just like confused because like this guy said he deserved the Calder, but he wouldn't build around him. What am I supposed to? And it's just like I would rather have Cale Makar.
It's like I remember. Do you remember in elementary school we would have like 2 volleyball teams? We'd have Team 1 and Team A.
Yeah,
it's kind of the situation with Hughes and Makar. It's like one, like it doesn't matter. Any
one of those teams could win at any time. Any one of these players can have a successful year. That's why I'm just going with Makar. I just like Makar. I would build around him more, so that's why I'm taking him.
I like it. My next pick is going to be John Carlson, Washington. Superstar defenseman. Carlson, I think he's the best defenseman in the East Division, in a loaded East Division. And I don't think there's any question about that argument. Right shot. I need a right shot defenseman on my team. I got one now. Guy's elite, and he's been very good. The Capitals have had a good run of like good right shot offensive defensemen. Mike Green was first, and now Carlson has kind of taken his role, and he's been better. So Carlson's on my team for that reason.
I'm gonna take Quinn Hughes then. Fuck. That's how I'm gonna round out my defense, is by taking Quinn Hughes. Again, Hughes every once in a while though he does have those like when he like a breakout pass that's like, what the fuck are you actually doing? That is not the proper, like, do not make that breakout pass. Like, just chip it off the boards and just get it out and let's just be done with it, instead of like, oh, there's fucking Petey cutting across the middle, I'm gonna like sauce it over, and it's just like, dude, just clear it off the board. But again, like, so good, so silky smooth, an elite skater, and that's understating how good of a skater he is.
No kidding.
So that's why I got to go with Quinn Hughes as my third defenseman.
Yeah, elite skating. His edge work is, I think, second to none in the NHL.
Yeah,
or at least he's in the Crosby kind of conversation in terms of edge work. Like, he's that good. Anyways, my next pick. I don't know where to go now. I was going to take Hughes as my third defenseman with that pick. This is tough. Okay. My next pick is going to be Matt Barzal.
Okay. I was hoping you wouldn't take him. I thought I might be able to get him, but yeah, I've already got centers too, so it's not.
Yeah. So Barzal's my guy. He's a
Coquitlam
spectacular.
boy.
Coquitlam, BC's BC boy. I wanted to make sure I have a BC guy on my team. So Barzal's my pick. He's just unbelievably fast. He's so good with a puck, and like I said, if he's got 80 points this year, he's going to be MVP of the NHL. I think he might do it.
Yeah, no, I can't argue with that. Like I think there's a good chance that he does. I have 4 forwards. I need 2 more.
You have McDavid, Matthews, Pettersson, Marner.
Give me a little bit of Patty Kane.
Oh.
Give me a little, his hand. He's not quite the same player that he was. He's fallen off, I'd say, a little bit just because of how the team is and that he's getting older. His hands, though, him and Marner on the same team with those hands.
Yeah. The thing with Patty Kane that's so cool is that he might even play till he's 45 because of how he plays the game.
Yeah.
He's just so efficient, how he moves, how he skates. He's still quick. He's very deceptively quick, and his hands are twice as fast as his feet are, and he's got I think an underrated shot. And he's got his curve is the best curve in hockey. Hot take right there. So, anyways, that's a good pick. Patty Kane has a really good pick, actually.
Patty Kane.
I need a goalie.
Yes.
I think you know who my goalie is.
I think I do know who your goalie is, but go and say it.
I picked John Gibson. And people are like, what the hell? Vasilevsky's better. Hellebuck's better. Rask, you could argue, is better. Gibson's a duck. And I need a duck on my team because I'm just an Anaheim guy. So Gibson's my goalie. In front of this team, nothing's getting by him.
I feel like we have, this is kind of like role reversal where I feel like at one time I would have been the guy who's making, the homer picks and, I would have picked Red Wings and, TJ Oshie and for known reasons. And you would have been, the smart, all the elite skilled players. But, I'm going to take another elite skilled player.
Okay.
I'm going to take Patrick Laine from the Winnipeg Jets.
Laine. That's an pick. Okay.
Here's the thing with Laine is that I think that dude is incredibly talented. I probably should have taken Ovi because I think Ovi's better. But Laine,
okay,
when Laine's hot, man, he's so good and he's young. That dude's almost had 400 career games and he's 22.
Yeah, that's a lot.
The dude is so good.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to touch on him just because I like him, and the whole Winnipeg situation is weird because Winnipeg doesn't want him. He doesn't seem to want to be in Winnipeg. He just needs a change of scenery. I'm a big Laine guy. I just wanted to give him some love, and that's a bit of a homer pick. So I got my homer pick, and then you can.
There you go.
You can make.
So that rounds out your forwards. You need a goalie.
Yes, and
I need a defenseman and a forward.
Okay, so you go with your either defenseman or forward.
Yep. Okay. So my next pick, I have 2 picks left.
Yeah.
So I've got to figure out who I'm going to take, who I'm going to play with who, and I'm going to pick. Oh, this is tough too. Alex Ovechkin.
Okay. Yeah.
Ovi. Like Ian mentioned before, I've been a huge fan of Ovi since I was a little guy. People are like, "Oh, Ovi's so annoying. He celebrates too much," but
that's what hockey needs, though. That's what I loved about Ovi as a kid was that he was fun and he was exciting and he made me want to watch hockey.
Yeah, you can't teach passion like that, and I like to think I have that same sort of passion for hockey, and I kind of embody that when I play and in my life too, and just that energy he brings to the ice every day, even at 35 years old, he's still bringing it, and I kind of aspire to do that.
And like Patrick Laine, I share his same passion to play Fortnite on the daily.
All right, Ian, who's your goalie?
My goalie is Carey Price.
Carey
Price. I think Carey Price gave everyone the reminder that they needed as to why he's a top goalie in this league this past season with the playoff.
In the bubble,
In the bubble, because there were. I remember Elliot Friedman saying this where. Teams didn't want Montreal in because they were afraid of having to go up against Price. Yeah. And he knocked out Pittsburgh with Crosby and Malkin and Gensel. He knocked
Yep.
out Philadelphia with Giroux, Voracek.
No, they didn't knock him out, but they gave him a good run.
Oh, they gave sorry, excuse me. Yeah. Yes, they gave him a game run. Philly won. Montreal lost. I don't know why. I'm still high on my Islanders pick from last season to win the cup. No, but they gave him a good run. Price was clearly the MVP of Montreal last year.
Yeah.
He's a top 10 goalie, at least, probably top 5.
He's probably top. I think he's top 5.
Top 5, and like if you aren't on the Carey Price hype train now, like if you don't believe in Carey Price now, like you'll never believe in him, and he's gonna show people why this year, why he's an incredible goalie.
If he plays like he did in 2015 when he won like everything with like Hart, he won Vezina, he won Ted Lindsay.
Yeah.
If he plays like that, he will take the Montreal Canadiens back to the playoffs.
For sure.
I think.
For sure, definitely. Who's your final pick?
I need a defenseman.
Yeah.
Wow. I was gonna pick Hughes. I was gonna pick McCarr, and then you took McCarr. I was gonna pick Hughes. You took Hughes.
I'm just an asshole. I'm sorry.
You're just I'm gonna take Alex Pietrangelo.
Okay. All right. I like that.
People don't talk about him enough. They don't talk about him enough at all. He's so solid on the back end. I think that's why people don't talk about him, because he's super solid. He's a good two-way defenseman. I have him on my like created team. On the NHL, like he's sick, and he's gonna be on a Vegas team now, which very well could win the cup this year. It could be. We'll get into our Stanley Cup picks later, but Pietrangelo is my.
That's a really good pick, actually. Like, especially like if we're doing say like a regular 5-on-5 format.
Yeah.
Like that's a really good pick.
For sure.
And he is so good offensively too.
Oh, for sure.
And I think he'll be even better in Vegas than he was in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be shocked by that. I don't know. So my team, just to give a quick rundown here on our SYP player draft. So I picked McDavid, Matthews,
Hedman.
I picked Hughes, McCarr, not in that order. I had, who else did I have? I had Marner.
Pedersen, Marner, McCarr, Hughes, Patty Kane, Patrick Laine, and Carey Price.
All right.
And I picked McKinnon, Roman Josi, Leon Draisaitl, Mikko Rantanen, Andrei Svechnikov, John Carlson, Matt Barzal, John Gibson, Alex Ovechkin, and to round it out, Alex Pietrangelo.
That's a really good roster you have too. I'm interested to see how this all goes, but we're not doing points right now. But again, we might figure out something later on. So do you want to do like Stanley? Actually, do you have any other players that you're just watching, like just a player or someone you're excited to watch this upcoming season?
Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
In Buffalo. He's, as you guys know, signed a 1-year, $8 million deal in Buffalo, basically make it or break it. And he's now, I think it gives Eichel a winger that can actually play with him and that can keep up with him. Watch Hall and Eichel kind of rip apart the East on the days they play. Buffalo's weird this year because you just don't know what's going to happen with them. If their goaltending holds up a little bit at least, they might make the playoffs. But we'll see. Anyways, I'm excited to see Taylor Hall.
One guy I wanted to throw out there, it's Brady Tkachuk.
Tkachuk.
Now, I'm usually talking a lot about his brother Matthew because I am a simp for Matthew Tkachuk. I'm not even a Flames fan. Brady's got a really interesting situation on his hand in Ottawa, where the team.
Right.
I don't know that the team expects to be that good this year. Even though they've made some improvements overall.
Yeah.
And Tkachuk is expected to be the guy who's leading this team this year. I think he's really fun to watch. He's really exciting. If you have an opportunity, watch the Sens at least once this year just to see Tkachuk and his teammate Thomas Chabot and how well, and Colin White really. See, those guys are really good. They just play for a shitty Ottawa team. But Brady Tkachuk is someone that I'm going to be watching a little bit more intensely this year and see how it goes with him being a Senator.
I like it. I just want to quickly mention before we get into our playoff picks, shout out Tim Stützle. I think he's my Calder pick to win right now. He'll be filthy, and now he's playing with like good players instead of a German team. Be it LAS and Paterka are good players in Germany, but He'll be playing with proper NHL talent, and I think he's gonna take a big leap in his year in Canada.
All right, I like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to do Stanley Cup picks and then like a few award winners who we think are gonna?
Yeah. Let's do it. I like it.
What do you want to start with?
So, oh my gosh. So I think based on, again, the playoff situation could very well change by the time we get to May, June. It could be back to like we don't even know. We have no idea.
Yeah.
So to make it easier, I'll make my my like Western Conference final. So we're doing the North and the West together, and the Central and the East together.
Is that how you want to do it? Or okay, all right, we'll do it that way.
I think that's how, if it was to happen, that's how it would happen.
Sure.
In terms of the North and West, it'll be the Leafs playing against the Golden Knights in the conference final on the.
I was gonna say, just who are your top 4 teams that you have making the semifinals, anyways?
Toronto, Vegas, Carolina, and I've got Philadelphia.
I'm gonna say Toronto.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Colorado.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Carolina.
Yep.
And I'm going to say the Islanders.
Okay. They come out of the East. Wow.
I'm going to say that. I don't believe in because I think Colorado and Carolina play for the Stanley Cup this year. I don't know how it's figured out, but Colorado plays Carolina for the Stanley Cup this year, and I'm gonna take the Avs to win.
Yep. How many games?
I'll say 7.
Yep.
Here's the thing. That's kind of an easy out. Like, it's not a very exciting. Like, Carolina, I guess, is kind of exciting, but Colorado making it. That's kind of I think that's kind of the consensus pick right now. I think they're the betting favorite, but
I think they are. Yeah.
Colorado or Vegas are like basically like they go hand in hand with one another. Like
out of the West, yeah. My Stanley Cup final pick is Vegas and Philadelphia, and the Golden Knights will win their first Stanley Cup in 6 games on home ice, and they'll be in front of fans. I think there'll be fans in the stands by the time we get to like June, July.
I think you're right with that. I think they'll have fans. They'll have fans in the stands in Vegas, I'm sure, at some point. Mm-hmm. That's also a good pick. It's weird how we both have Toronto because I think Toronto is the best team in Canada. I think they do make the top 4.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see how they blow it. I'm interested to see how the Leafs fuck up not getting to the Stanley. Not only not winning the Stanley Cup, but not getting to the Stanley Cup finals.
Oh boy, they have a good team. I think they got to do well this year. They have to do some damage in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they better this year. I think there's gonna be a lot of pressure on them, but I think you're right. I think they're gonna at least win a playoff series.
That's like the bare.
How far they go, who knows?
I was gonna say Toronto winning like a series is like the bare minimum, like of what they have to achieve this year. Like they need to be a top. The expectation should be like the top 4 team in the league, but bare minimum win a series. So you're taking Vegas in 6 over Philly.
Vegas in 6 over Philly.
And I'm gonna take Colorado over Carolina in 7. Interesting. I like those picks. Those are good picks.
I like it.
Do you want Hart? Do you want to take a Hart Trophy winner?
Nathan McKinnon. It's honestly it's an easy pick. It's a safe pick. I can't go against him. I can't. The Avalanche will be so good this year, and my Vegas pick could be really wrong, and it could be Colorado there, like Ian you picked. McKinnon wins the Hart, and I don't think it's even close.
I'm going to make. I'll say I'm going to say that Matt Barzal gets it. I think the Hart this year, because it's a stupid trophy, because like the people voting for it are like it's just random.
Yeah. Anyways,
I think it's going to be between Barzal, Matthews, and McKinnon. I think those are your top 3 nominees. And
cool.
I'm going to say Barzal wins it. I mean,
Yeah.
I know. Here's the thing:
Yeah.
it's like with
Okay.
McKinnon and McDavid, it's like you're voting for kind of those same, like those guys. Even Matthews like deserve to win it like every year.
Every year. Yeah.
So this year we're gonna go with something different, and we'll go with Matt Barzal because he's like the one offensive piece to the Islanders. He's like the one offensive threat that's on. I mean, you count Anders
Well,
Lee and
I wouldn't
Everly.
go that far,
He's
but
he's
he drives the play on the island. That's for sure.
sure. All right. Calder.
I said it earlier, Stützle. You could argue for Laugh. You could argue for Shesterkin. Stützle's gonna win it. He's gonna have 40 points, and he's gonna win it.
That's a good pick. I like that pick. Because he looks so good, and Ottawa needs him.
Unreal. Yeah, do they ever?
I'm gonna go with what is it, Kirill Kaprizov for Minnesota?
Kaprizov in Minnesota.
Or Kaprizov? Kaprizov?
Okay. Yeah, Kaprizov. Yeah.
I've taken him just because I think Minnesota makes the playoffs and he has a solid season, and I think the Rangers guys kind of wash out each other's votes, like Laugh and Shesterkin. I think those
is Fox still a rookie too?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he counts. But I think those will kind of wash out each other's votes. So I'm gonna go with Kaprizov. I'm gonna go with him to win the Calder this year, just because he's again like one of the few exciting offensive options for Minnesota this year.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good pick.
Vezina.
I knew you were gonna ask about that one. I was gonna, I could easily go with my Homer Gibson pick. I really could, and if there's a world where the Ducks make the playoffs and he wins the Vezina because he has a .930 save percentage and a 2.01 goals against average, like something in this NHL that's ridiculous. It'll be Hellebuck though. The Jets will make the playoffs, and Hellebuck will be a big piece of that.
Ooh, okay. I like that one. You know what? He's a really good goaltender. It's just too bad Winnipeg can't figure it out and put it all together.
Yeah, they got the goalie, but they just need the guys up front.
They have the goal. Well, they have the goalie and they have the guys up front. I just feel like it's the defense, or they just don't get your breaks or whatever. Yeah. That's a really good pick. This is where I'm going to go with my homer pick of Carter Hart wins the Vezina this year. I just think Carter.
There's an argument there too.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a really good goaltender for the Flyers this year. He's the reason they will be like sniffing the cup this year. He will actually. He's just so good, so fun to watch. Love myself some Carter Hart, so that's why he's gonna get my Vezina trophy. Win this year. I'll let you continue on with what's the next award that you want to discuss.
We'll do Conn Smythe, and then I think we'll wrap it up because again, it's hard. The other awards are really hard to predict at this point.
And then I'm gonna say it's I'll say Makar.
Okay.
I'll say Makar. It's probably gonna be for my pick. It's probably gonna be McKinnon. Like if Carolina,
assuming Colorado wins the cup.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be McKinnon because typically your best players are the one that are winning the Conn Smythe. And it's usually either your top center, your top D, or your goalie are winning the Conn Smythe.
Yeah.
I said Makar. I just think he's a really great D-man, and he will be able to shut down Carolina's offense if they ever get to the finals, and that's why he would win it. It's just by if he shuts down Svechnikov and Aho, but that's a toss-up as well. So I'm gonna go with Makar.
I like it. That's a good pick. For me, I said the Vegas Golden Knights will win. Mark Stone will be my Conn Smythe. It could, you could argue for one of Fleury, Leonard. You could argue Theodore. You could argue Pietrangelo. You could argue Marchessault, Carlson. The Golden Knights have a plethora of talent. Mark Stone's going to win it because of his solid two-way game. He's going to have 20 points in the playoffs. He's going to have some big clutch goals. He's got a great shot, underrated shot as well. And he's going to be a thorn in the side of McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog. He'll be a thorn in the side of whatever, if they end up playing the Canucks, like PD, Edmonton, Toronto, whoever they play against. Like he and his line will be detrimental in shutting down teams, and he'll put up points as well. So Mark Stone is my pick.
I don't hate that pick, just because someone, I think, like in the bubble, made a compilation of all the stick checks that he had.
Oh, there must have been a lot.
A lot of stick checks. He's got great hair. Great shot. He proved himself too in the bubble. Like he really showed.
The one knock on Stone is that he doesn't skate that well. That's the one knock.
Yeah.
But he's so smart that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's in the right spot like 90% of the time. So, interesting. Okay, so you like Vegas to win the Cup. I like Colorado. You got McKinnon winning the Hart, and I got Barzal.
Yep. Yeah, you have Barzal. Yeah.
Okay, and then Calder, you took Stützle. I got Kaprizov. Vezina, who'd you take for Vezina? You took.
I took Hellebuck.
You took Hellebuck. That's right. I took Carter Hart, and then your Conn Smythe is Mark Stone, and then mine's Cale Makar. I like it. Those are some really good options too.
Good pick. It's like we know what we're talking about.
Exactly. So pretty much, you should just go gamble all your money on all of our picks, and all of them will happen. Any other final thoughts here as we end the pod here? This is some really good hashtag content for people. If there's any other final thoughts you got coming on, like I need some hockey night in Canada with a beer on Saturday night.
I cannot wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow I have one class, and I'm watching hockey the rest of the night. So
nice.
It'll be good. I just made the lines for our teams, Ian, and I will show them with you after, and we'll get them posted on SYP.
Final thoughts, takeaways as we head into this new season.
Go Ducks.
Go Ducks. I didn't even shout out my boys, Dylan Larkin, Anthony Manta, Tyler Bertuzzi. They're gonna finish close to last, but that's okay.
But they won't be last.
They won't be last.
The Hawks will be last place in the Central.
Yes.
Let's make that clear.
Yes.
Then Detroit. Then yeah.
Yeah, because I just think this is gonna be. Hopefully, it's gonna be a good season. Hopefully, we don't get too many COVID outbreaks. Yeah.
It's good they're doing like the back-to-back kind of thing. I think that's going to help a lot. And they're also not playing teams all over the place because obviously the Canadian team can't go to the U.S. and vice versa. So the fact they're playing like only a certain amount of teams is really going to help contain it a lot, I think. So, yeah, it should be good.
So that's the Speak Your Piece podcast. Again, make sure to like us on Instagram, Speak Your Piece. We'll have that in the bio here. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. This video portion will be on YouTube, so you can watch the portion of the pod on YouTube. Be sure to check out some of our other stuff that we've got going on. I got some other Instagram pages I'm doing. Basically, like and subscribe to the pod. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever else you get your pods. We might do some Instagram lives coming up. We'll see. We might have to plan those out. We have hoodies coming.
4 to 6 weeks away. We're still in kind of planning stage.
We're still planning that, but just wanted to sprinkle a little bit. They're coming, and then dot. Like we're leaving it at that. It's not.
Yep.
Not much more than that. So be sure to tell your friends. Thanks for all your support, and we'll talk again soon. So peace out.